What if the person who wrote the song that's been the soundtrack to your life suddenly turned to you and said, "You're the inspiration"? Sounds like a scene straight out of a dream, right? You can almost feel your heart skip a beat, the music in the background amplifying the magic of the moment. But hold on. Let's take a step back. While this fantasy might seem like the ultimate romance, let's dive deeper. Because love stories between musicians and their fans aren't always as perfect as they seem on the surface. You've probably imagined it. You're front and center at a concert. The crowd is buzzing with excitement, and then, out of nowhere, the lead singer's eyes lock with yours. You're both in that moment, caught in a gaze that feels like destiny itself. Sparks fly. The world around you fades away. And suddenly, you're the only person in the room. It's the dream of every fan, right? To be noticed by their idol, to share that electric, unforgettable connection. But here's the twist. What happens when this dream actually becomes reality? Is it all sunshine, rainbows, and concert lights? Or does it come with unexpected backstage drama? What happens when the fantasy of dating a musician starts clashing with the reality of their lifestyle, their fans, and the pressure of being in the spotlight? Is the romance still as magical when the cameras are turned off? Let's peel back the layers and see what happens when a fan becomes more than just an admirer, when the line between fantasy and reality gets blurry, and the drama, well, it hits you like a guitar solo. This isn't your typical fairy tale where a fan is swept away into a world of glitter and glamour. No, this is real life. And it's messy. Sometimes beautiful, often complicated. Being a fan of a musician is like carrying around an unspoken bond. You immerse yourself in their music, their lyrics, and somehow it feels like they're speaking directly to you. It's as though they get you on a level that no one else can, and before you even meet them, you're already emotionally invested. You're not just a casual listener anymore. You're deeply connected to them in ways that are hard to explain. But here's where the story takes a turn. What happens when that musician, the one whose music has been the soundtrack of your life, notices you? Imagine this. You're at a concert, lost in the music, when suddenly, the lead singer's eyes lock with yours. You freeze. You're no longer just another face in the crowd. You're the one they're looking at. For a split second, it feels like the entire world pauses. Your heart races and your mind goes blank. This isn't a dream anymore. It's real. And that, my friend, is when things get a little complicated. It's one thing to be a fan from afar, but now you're part of the story. Suddenly, you're at the center of the attention, and that's when the drama starts. The magic of being noticed by your idol quickly collides with the reality of what comes next. Awkward moments, misunderstandings, and the pressure of being in the spotlight. What happens next could be the start of something incredible or an emotional roller coaster. Okay, let's set the stage. Picture this. You've been following them for years. Each album, each concert, each music video. You know every lyric by heart, every guitar riff, every subtle change in the melody that gives the song its soul. Their music has been the soundtrack to your life, and every note carries memories of moments that shaped who you are. You've been to every single concert they've ever had, but tonight is different. Tonight, you've managed to snag a spot in the front row, the coveted seat you've dreamed of for years. The lights dim, and the crowd goes wild. The energy in the arena is electric, like an invisible current charging every person in the room. Your heart is racing. Your palms are sweaty. This is it, the moment you've been waiting for. You can almost feel the anticipation in the air as the first chords of their hit song fill the arena, vibrating through your chest. Your whole body reacts to the music, and for a split second, you forget everything except the sound, the lights, the feeling of being alive in this exact moment. Then, it happens. They look at you. Not just a casual glance, but a real, genuine look that cuts through the sea of fans. Their eyes meet yours, and in that instant, time seems to slow down. It's as if you're the only person in the entire arena. The music fades into the background, and it's just you and them in that tiny bubble, connected through the energy of the moment. You can feel it, electricity crackling between you, like the very air around you is charged with possibility. Your breath catches in your throat. Is this real? Are they really looking at you? Is this just a coincidence? Or is something more happening? The world around you disappears. There's no crowd, no noise, no distractions. Just that one perfect, surreal moment. You hold their gaze, your heart pounding in your chest, a million thoughts racing through your mind. But then, just as quickly as it all began, reality comes crashing back. They're no longer just on stage. They're off, walking toward you, making their way through the sea of screaming fans. Your mind goes blank. What now? What do you do? Do you tell them that you've been following their career for years? That you've listened to every album on repeat until the songs are burned into your memory? Do you tell them that their music has helped you through some of the toughest moments in your life? Or do you play it cool, pretending that this moment isn't sending your heart into overdrive? Pretending that you're not literally screaming internally like a teenage fan at their first concert? You try to gather yourself, but your palms are sweaty, your thoughts are racing. You want to act natural, but your nerves are making it impossible to think clearly. What do you say? What if you embarrass yourself? What if they're not as nice as you imagined? The pressure of the moment begins to sink in, and suddenly, that magical connection you felt earlier starts to feel more like an overwhelming wave of anxiety. The closer they get, the more you can hear your own heartbeat thudding in your ears. Are you even making sense right now? The closer they get, the more the reality of the situation hits you. They're walking toward you, but in a way, it feels like you're walking toward them. Like you're both caught in this surreal moment that could go in 1,000 different directions. And when they finally stand before you, that's when the real test begins. What happens next could change everything. Will it be the perfect interaction you've dreamed of? Or will it be a nervous, awkward exchange that leaves you wondering, what the hell just happened? ChatGPT Danoy. Let's fast forward a little. You've had a few exchanges with them by now. Maybe just a few words, a smile, or a moment where they've actually noticed you. You feel like you've crossed a line, like you're no longer just another face in the crowd. There's something about this connection, this spark, that feels different from anything you've experienced before. But here's where things start to get tricky. The spark between a musician and a fan isn't just about chemistry. Oh no, it's more than that. It's deeper, it's more personal, and it's about shared experiences. Every time they sing a song that you've lived through, whether it's a breakup, a triumph, or a moment that changed your life, it feels like they're singing it directly to you. The lyrics aren't just words anymore. They're messages, confessions, memories that connect you to them in a way that's almost impossible to put into words. It's that feeling of hearing a song that speaks to your soul, as though the universe lined up just for you to hear it. You can't help but wonder, are they singing this for me? Does this song mean as much to them as it does to me? But here's the thing, as those connections deepen, so do the questions. At first you think it's just a coincidence, a moment of magic. But what happens when the lines start to blur between what's real and what's fantasy? When you go home and check your phone, and there it is, an unexpected message. Maybe it's a thank you for your support. Maybe it's them liking a post you shared. Or maybe, just maybe, they slide into your DMs. Suddenly the whole situation takes on a new layer. This isn't just a fan-guitarist relationship anymore. It's something more tangible, more personal, and far more complicated. And then, the invitation. After the show, maybe they ask you to come backstage. Just you. The butterflies in your stomach are impossible to ignore. Could it be? Could they actually be interested in you, beyond the fan-idol dynamic? You've heard of these stories before, where the fan and the musician fall for each other, where magic sparks from the connection. But now you're living it, and it feels surreal. The question lingers in your mind. Is this real? The thought runs through your head like an echo. Are they really into me, or is this just part of their routine? They meet fans every day, right? They smile, they make eye contact, they say all the right things. But when the crowd's gone and the lights are dimmed, and it's just the two of you, how do you know if this is real, or if you're just another fan who happened to be in the right place at the right time? This is where the fantasy of the moment collides with reality. It's easy to get swept up in the excitement, in the thought that maybe, just maybe, you're not just another face in the crowd. But as the days go by, you start to wonder, how much of this is genuine? How much of this is just the musician playing their part, the charming, attentive performer who knows how to make every fan feel special? The line between what's real and what's fantasy becomes harder to see. Is it their charisma that has you captivated, or is there something more beneath the surface? Is this love, or just an intense connection that's fueled by the magic of the stage? You start to question everything, the conversations, the moments, the looks. Was it just a fleeting attraction, or was it something more? And in the end, that's the hardest part, figuring out where you stand. You want to believe it's real, but you're stuck in a whirlwind of emotions, unsure of what's fantasy and what's genuine. And as you sit with these thoughts, the only thing you know for sure is this. It's never just a simple fan encounter anymore. It's a tangled web of emotions, uncertainty, and the sweet, uncertain feeling of what if. But here's where it gets complicated. At first, everything feels like a dream. You're no longer just a fan. You're the one they're holding hands with, sharing moments with, and making memories. But as the relationship develops, the reality starts to sink in. You're not just dating a person. You're dating someone who has millions of fans, an army of followers, constant media attention, and a life that's anything but ordinary. Suddenly, the world around you shifts. What seemed like a dream come true starts to feel a lot more like a high-stakes game with a never-ending spotlight. Imagine trying to go on a simple date with someone who has paparazzi lurking around every corner, ready to snap pictures of every move you make. You can't walk down the street without being followed, without someone dissecting your every action. Want to grab coffee? You better believe there's someone waiting to take a picture of you both, speculating on your relationship with 1,000 different headlines. Even the most innocent moments become fodder for gossip columns and online rumors. What was once a private, intimate gesture, a hand on the back, a kiss on the cheek, suddenly becomes part of the public show, part of the narrative that's being created about your relationship. And it's not just the paparazzi that you have to worry about. It's the fans, too. Imagine that every time you go out, you're surrounded by people who adore your partner, people who want to get a glimpse, a picture, or a piece of them. Every smile, every wave, every interaction with fans feels like an orchestrated performance. The public is always watching, always analyzing, and suddenly, every little moment you share with them feels like it's under a magnifying glass. What started out as a simple, beautiful romance becomes something that's constantly being scrutinized by people who don't know the full story, and frankly, might not even care to know it. But here's the twist. Maybe that's part of the appeal, right? The glitz, the glamour, the thrill of it all. You're living in a world that's both magical and unpredictable, where you're no longer just another person. They've chosen you. The excitement of being part of their world, a world where anything can happen, is intoxicating. There's something undeniably exhilarating about the attention, about the knowledge that you're with someone whose life is a whirlwind of red carpets, flashing cameras, and celebrity status. And yet, it doesn't make it any easier. It doesn't remove the pressure of knowing that your every move will be talked about, analyzed, and often twisted into something it's not. Your relationship is no longer just about the two of you. It's about the fans, the media, and the public's perception. You have to navigate the constant scrutiny, the inevitable jealousy from others, and the weight of being constantly under the microscope. It's a reality that's far from easy. While the allure of dating someone famous is undeniably thrilling, it comes with its own set of challenges. You're constantly aware that anyone, anywhere could be vying for their attention, eager to steal them away. But at the end of the day, the question remains, is it worth it? Can love survive in a world where privacy is scarce and every emotion is broadcasted for the world to see? You start to wonder if the public aspect of the relationship, the excitement, the glamour, is enough to overshadow the challenges. Because as thrilling as it is to be by their side, you can't help but wonder, when the cameras are off, when the crowd has gone home, is there anything left that's just for the two of you? Or is your love simply another headline in their ever-evolving story? Eventually, the question you have to ask yourself is, can this really work? Can a fan and a musician truly build something lasting, something meaningful? Or is it just a fleeting moment, a starry-eyed passion that fades as quickly as it ignites? As exciting and magical as it seems in the beginning, the reality sets in, and you're left wondering if this whirlwind romance has the legs to last in the real world. Because let's face it, this kind of relationship isn't for the faint of heart. It's not just about late-night phone calls or sweet notes exchanged between sets. There's pressure, distance, and the constant barrage of fans trying to get your place in their life. Every move, every decision is under a spotlight. You have to learn to navigate the whirlwind of emotions that come with dating someone so publicly adored. And let's not forget, love is never easy, right? When you're dating a musician, every moment you share isn't just yours. It's theirs too, shared with thousands of fans who feel like they know them better than you do. It's a strange feeling when you realize that what you thought was a private, intimate exchange between the two of you is, in fact, a spectacle for others to analyze, gossip about, and dissect. It's thrilling at first, sure, but eventually the overwhelming attention from the outside world starts to take its toll, and that's when the cracks start to show. As time goes on, the complications begin to pile up. Maybe it works for a while, that perfect balance of passion and connection. But like with any relationship, the reality of it all starts to sink in. One of the hardest things to deal with is jealousy. How do you cope when they're off on tour, living their dream, surrounded by adoring fans, and you're stuck at home, waiting for the next text or phone call? You can try to be understanding, to tell yourself that it's all part of their job, but the loneliness is undeniable. And the distance? It only grows as they travel from city to city, leaving you behind in a world where their fans are everywhere, watching and waiting for their attention. But the real test comes when your private moments become fodder for tabloids. Every kiss, every hug, every argument you have behind closed doors suddenly becomes the next big story. Your love, once private and sacred, is now a headline. Twisted, exaggerated, or completely fabricated. How do you deal with the constant invasion of privacy, with the feeling that your life is no longer just yours? How do you keep the spark alive when every move you make is scrutinized by people who don't know the real story? And yet, despite all the ups and downs, despite the challenges, there's still that pull. You feel drawn to them, not because of their fame or their talent, but because they get you in a way that no one else does. There's something about them, something deeper than the lights and the applause, that connects with something inside you. It's that intangible feeling, the one you can't quite explain. It's not about the fame, the fortune, or the glitz. It's the moments when they make you feel seen, heard, and understood. It's the way they look at you, not as just another fan, but as someone who matters in their world. Despite the chaos, despite the constant pressure, you can't help but feel that connection. One that keeps you coming back, that makes you believe, if only for a moment, that maybe this thing between you two can work after all. But the reality is you can't ignore the pressures, the complications, and the constant battles with jealousy and privacy. It's a delicate balance, one that's hard to maintain, especially when it feels like the world is watching. And yet, here you are, still drawn to them, still hoping that, despite the odds, this love story will find a way to survive the storm. Because in the end, maybe that's what makes love worth fighting for. The hope that the connection, the understanding, and the magic can survive all the obstacles, no matter how high they rise. Now let's hit pause for a moment and have a little fun. Imagine this scenario. You're a fan, living your life, humming along to their latest hit on your way to work, when, out of nowhere, your phone rings. It's the musician, the one you've adored for years. Your heart skips a beat as you answer, trying to keep your cool. But inside, you're melting. And then, the words hit you like a thunderbolt. I've been thinking of writing a song about you. Cue your heart racing, your palms sweating. What do? Do you faint? Let out a scream of excitement. Or do you somehow manage to act calm and collected, pretending like you're not internally flipping out? Because let's face it, anyone in that position would be fighting the urge to jump around like a teenager at their first concert. It's funny, isn't it? Just a minute ago, you were screaming their lyrics in the car, belting out every word like you were their #1 fan. And now, you're not just part of the audience, you're in the song. It's like the universe has turned your wildest dream into reality, but with a twist you didn't see coming. Instead of simply admiring them from afar, you're now in their creative thoughts, in the narrative of a song that might just become your soundtrack. And here's the kicker. Who wouldn't want a love story that starts with an impromptu serenade under the stars? Picture it. Just you and them, somewhere quiet, with only the moonlight and the sound of their voice to keep you company. They're singing a song they wrote for you, one that captures everything they feel in that moment. It's not just any song either. It's your song, written by someone who's been in your head and heart for so long. Sign me up, right? Who wouldn't want that kind of magical, unpredictable romance? Because deep down, we all want a love story that's bigger than life, something that makes us feel like we're in a movie, where the stars align and everything is possible. So, here's the big question. Can a love story between a musician and a fan really survive the chaos of the rockstar lifestyle, the relentless drama, and the whirlwind that comes with it? Or does it inevitably fade away, just like the last notes of a song as the crowd quiets down? One thing's for certain, whether it lasts or not, the ride is one hell of an adventure. Imagine it. The excitement, the intimacy, the highs and lows. You're not just falling for someone, you're falling for the idea of them, everything they represent. But how long can that last when the world is watching, when every moment is up for scrutiny, and when the pressures of fame weigh heavily on your relationship? Can love truly survive the constant tour schedules, the endless fans, and the never-ending public gaze? Or is it all just a fleeting moment? A fantasy, spun from the lyrics and music that once made you feel understood? But hey, maybe that's part of the thrill, right? The unpredictability, the magic of it all. There's something undeniably captivating about the idea of loving someone who's living the kind of life that most of us can only dream of. But as dreamy as it sounds, the reality is a lot messier than the fantasy. So, what do you think? Do you believe a relationship like this can work in the long run? Or is it just a fantasy we've created from the music? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. If you love this story and want more juicy tales of love, relationships, and all things emotional, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps me create more exciting content that's just as wild and fun. So go ahead, smash that bell icon, because you won't want to miss what's coming next.